Tell me, how can you stand there with your broken heart, ashamed of playing the fool? One thing can lead to another. It doesn't take any sacrifice. Father and mother, sister and brother, if it feels right, don't think twice. Just shower the people you love with. Show them the way that you feel, that you feel. Things are gonna work out
the Unity Band. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise as you are able and join us in singing our opening praise song. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me know that love is all around.
Let me know that love is all around.
Oh, let me know that love is all around.
Let me know that love is all around.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fall.
Let me learn from all the ways I've fallen.
Oh, let me know that love can heal us all.
Let me know that love can heal us all.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving weekend. We're so grateful for you. Grateful that you joined us in our celebration service. This is the time of our gathering when we like to welcome each other to the service with a handshake or a hug or a holy high five or whatever works for you. But if you wish no contact, just do this.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me share the good that's overflowing.
Let me share all the good that's overflowing.
Oh, let me care for those around the world.
Let me care for those around the world.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Sing, ladies, sing, sing, sing. Well, this is the first Sunday of Advent. We're going to go ahead and sing one of the most beautiful traditional carols, O Little Town of Bethlehem. O little town
I am always on these videos asking you to do something, inviting you to something, and this may be my favorite invite of the year. Come spend the holidays with me. Come spend the holidays with Unity of Houston. The Light of Christmas is our theme this year, so we're going to start with Blue Christmas on December 1st. We have the holiday concert on December 7th. Christmas Eve candlelighting services at 5 and 7 on the 24th. And 1 week later, New Year's Eve, December 31st, we have the Burning Bowl ceremony. This is a favorite for so many of you, where we gather to release anything that we want to leave in 2024, not carry forward into 2025. And that sets us up perfectly for the White Stone ceremony on January 8th. It's a Wednesday, where we discern and divine our word to guide us for this fabulous new year coming up. Many, many wonderful things happening this holiday season at Unity. Come join us. I am always on these. I do get excited at this time of year. You're going to hear it hit a lot between now and the end of the year. So just get ready for it. We have a lot of everything is Christmas and holidays this time of year, including our generosity. This is the time that we give of our abundance and our prosperity to help those who are less fortunate. Our Unity in the Community leadership team is out with. It looks like they have antlers on today. They'll be hard to miss, but they're in the lobby today. We're taking cash donations or credit card donations to give gifts. There are two different gifts that we're giving. We'll be giving gift cards to families at Pilgrim Academy. That's the public school that is economically challenged largely, and the people that attend there. So we're going to be supporting them by giving Christmas where they might not have much of a Christmas without us. And then we'll also be giving gifts called Gifts of Compassion. These are for the folks who have recently transitioned from homelessness into housing. And so they often arrive with very little. And so if either of those things moves your heart, please stop at the table in the lobby today and make a gift that will support those who don't have as much but would really love to have a Christmas. You can be a part of that. What's next on my list? Tuesday. It is Giving Tuesday, and if you're making charitable contributions, we just invite you to remember Unity of Houston as you do that, and you can find the link to that on our website, on the helpful links. If you haven't been to our new website, go check it out. And we have a concert this Saturday. Let me think, who could I get out here to talk about our concert? How about Ken Gale?
Not me. Now, just so you know, Michael and I did not text each other this morning with the memo on turtlenecks, but the weather is getting a little bit cooler, which kind of makes me feel like the holidays are almost upon us. My stomach is still recovering from Thanksgiving, so I know that we're really in the middle of the holidays now. And one of the most wonderful parts of the holidays for me is also hearing a lot of beautiful Christmas music. We sang a carol this morning. There'll be Christmas carols, there'll be favorites, secular and sacred music. The choir is going to be involved. We have guest artists. Jesse Powers, who came here for the first time in July, is returning for Christmas. Regina Hearn, a wonderful favorite of ours who hasn't been here for a number of years. The Barbara King Dancers will be back. All of this you get to experience, as well as, Michael, your new favorite word for the season is festooned.
Festooned. We're going to be festooned.
We will have fresh new holiday decorations, which will be unveiled that evening, so you don't want to miss it. It's going to be this Friday evening at 7 p.m. The concert is free and open to the public. Did I say Friday? Thank you for correcting me.
Don't come Friday. You'll be disappointed.
Please don't come on Friday. We'll be rehearsing. It's Saturday night. Thank you. Saturday at 7 p.m. Free and open to the public. There'll be a love offering. For our live stream audiences or those who are not here in Houston, it will be live streamed for you to be able to take advantage of it as well. So please don't miss it. We'll see you on Saturday.
That's right. And I think you forgot to mention, we also have Ken Gale, Julia Liskowski, Siobhan, right?
That's correct.
In
terms of soloists.
That's right. Yes, our regular crowd will be there too.
Here, I'll be here. Bruce Ross will be here. So it's going to be a wonderful
We're all going to be here.
It'll be a party. You don't want to miss it. And there might even be Santa. So.
Thank you, Ken. Just two last holiday wonderful opportunities. With the decorations will be mostly up next week when you come back for Sunday service or for the concert on Saturday. But then a couple weeks later, we're going to be filling the stage with poinsettias. And this is always an invitation for you if you'd like to donate one in honor or memory of a loved one. And the only timeline around that is if we need those all in by 2 weeks from today, December 15th, if you want their names to be included on the screens on Christmas Christmas Eve or on New Year's Eve for burning bowls. So just put that in mind, and you can go to helpful links again on our new website. It's right there on the homepage, and there's an easy form to do that. We also always need extra volunteers for the Christmas Eve services, particularly. So if you are looking for a way to get to know people here at Unity and you would like to be of service, what I suggest that folks do is volunteer at one of the two services, either the 5 or the 7, and then attend the other one so you get the full experience of it. We're here all day. You may as well be too. It'll be great. I think that's it. So if you're new, we'd just like to welcome you to Unity of Houston. If you're new in the room today, we have a gift for you out in the lobby. The welcome team will be there at the welcome table, and they have a welcome gift. Lots of welcome here at Unity today. And if you're online, we'd ask you to fill out the connection card. It'll be on all the various platforms where we're live streaming, and you can fill that out. And just lets us know who you are, how you found out about us, and whether or not you would like to be a part of our mailing list. That's really it. We are creating community in a time that we need community more than ever. And this is a very open, a very diverse and inclusive community. Wherever you are on your spiritual path, you are most welcome here at Unity. Thank you for being with us today. One of the traditions that we do here at Christmas time is the lighting of the Advent wreath and the candles. And so we have a wonderful family that is they're kind of new to us. I'm from Brazil, and we just love them. So please welcome Alex and Patricia and Clara and the grandmother Leda. They're going to come and do our Advent lighting.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Alex.
Thanks for having us, Michael, on stage. It's an honor for us. Today, we begin our observation of the season of Advent, a Christian tradition that began more than 15 centuries ago. In Advent, the 4 Sundays leading up to Christmas are seen as a time of preparation for the birth of Christ.
We're observing Advent with this Advent wreath. The candle in the center of the Advent wreath symbolizes the Christ light present within each of us. Each of the surrounding candles represent a spiritual quality to deepen in preparation for the birth of the Christ child.
On this first Sunday of Advent, we reflect on faith and hope.
Together, from the flame of the Christ candle, we light the candle of faith and hope as we embrace the light of faith that resides within each of us. With this, we remember the words from the books of the Hebrews 11:3. By faith, we understand that the worlds were prepared by the word of God, so that what is seen was made from things that are not visible.
Please join in our Advent affirmation. On this day of Advent, I remember that my faith is in my connection to God.
And now is the time we prepare for meditation. I softly close my eyes, letting go of everything. And in this secret silence, I will have found my way. this road will lead me home.
So if you haven't done so already, I invite you to close your eyes as we turn our focus inwards. To help us do that, I like to begin by just bringing my attention to the breath, just noticing it, following it as it comes into my body and leaves. Just invite you to use that practice to achieve this gentle, focused awareness in this now moment. Breathing in, breathing out. So we turn our attention away from all of the circumstances and conditions of our lives. Some are pleasant and we like the way they're going, and others are challenging, difficult, painful. And so we don't linger in any place with anything outside in this moment of meditation. Instead, we turn to the kingdom of heaven within, as Jesus spoke of it. That place within the very center of our being where we connect to God. We connect to others. We connect to the whole of the universe, for we are a part of it. Each of us belonging in this sacred family of all things and all beings. Our name is our theology, unity. We live from our oneness with God and with each other. So we rest in this awareness that no matter what is arising in our life circumstances, we are eternally and wholly connected to the love, to the light, to the power, to the peace, to the joy of God. Actually, it is what we are, that we are expressions of God's own being, made in the image and the likeness of the One. And so those same qualities that exist in the divine exist in us, and we can call them forward. So if there are any situations that are unpeaceful, we can summon that peace of God that passes all understanding to guard our hearts and our minds. If we're feeling under the weight of some difficult situation, we can call forward the divine quality of joy. Teilhard de Chardin said that joy is the surest sign of the presence of God. And since God's Spirit lives within us all, joy is already within us. And if we are feeling isolated and cut off, we can summon the divine quality of love, that generous giving and receiving of connection and energy. All of us are created in love, and we are made to be perfect givers and receivers of God's love. And so for a few moments to complete our meditation, I invite us to do what Scripture says Mary did when she was given the news that she was to birth the Christ child. She pondered all these things and treasured them in her heart. So let us do that now. Holding the love, the light, the peace, the joy of God. I am enough. I belong. I am supported. I am lifted. I am guided to all the steps that will lead me on my journey of faith and becoming. I give thanks, and so it is. Amen.
I brought my tree down to the shore, the garland and the silver star, to find my peace and grieve no more, to heal this place inside my heart. On every branch I laid some bread. The hungry birds filled up the sky. They rang like bells around my head. They sang my spirit back to life. One tiny child can change the world. One shining light can show the way. Through all my tears for what I've lost, there's still my joy. There's still my joy for Christmas Day. The snow comes down on empty sand. There's tinsel moonlight on the waves. My soul was lost, but here I am. For this must be amazing grace. One tiny child can change the world. One shining light can show the way. Beyond my tears for what I've lost, there's still my joy. There's still my joy for Christmas Day. There's still my joy for Christmas Day.
Beautiful song. Julia's beautiful voice just really touched me with that today. We're here. It's December. How did that happen? But we're here. But we're not quite here. I love that we haven't always done the Advent wreath here at Unity, but we started, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and we've almost every year now since we've done it. And I like if you don't know, if you didn't come from a liturgical Christian background, you may not know that we're not in Christmas season yet. We're in Advent, which means getting ready. We're getting ready for something to happen. And the metaphysics of the birth of Christ is that the light that was in Jesus is also in us, and we are invited to bring it forth in a new way. That's a pretty good Christmas message, don't you think? And if you look around our world, don't you think we could use a little more of that Christ light showing up in human beings about now? You think it's a good idea? Well, good, because you just signed up to do it. And I did too. That's the commitment. And now is the time we get to prepare. We get to begin to take that journey. So I have 3 points, as you probably know I would. I want to make sure that I get them because I left one out last week, so it's coming in today. All right, so the journey begins here is my first point. The second one is disillusionment is a gift. I will explain in a moment. And the third point is holding each other in wholeness. But first, a joke. It's a short one. This is a busy time of year, particularly if you're in the church business. We have so many things we're doing, and the details can get really overwhelming. But finally, after weeks of preparing to get this far, I have my list complete. Now I just need to find someone to do it. All right, so let's talk about my title. I think it's a pretty good title, A Deeper Understanding of Wholeness. You may notice that not only do we have the Advent wreath, but we have this table with the white poinsettias. This is another tradition that we borrowed. My church in Dallas was the first place I ever experienced it years ago. We call it Blue Christmas. It's an opportunity just to acknowledge that for many people, this time of year can be difficult, can be painful. And maybe not every year, but maybe you're going through something this year. And so we want to just give a space for that today. So at the end of my message, we're going to do a little ceremony that we get to bless you as your community and just hold you, witness you as the light of God, even when we're going through something. But all of us go through something. I had a friend in recovery years ago, and he would say, when somebody was going through something, he'd say, well, it's just your time in the barrel. And then if it's not, he said, not your time in the barrel. I don't know which barrel he was talking about. Maybe the one that goes over Niagara Falls. That's kind of what I picture. I hope it's not the one where they shoot the fish. I don't know, but that's true. We all just have a time in our lives when things are hard. All of us experience loss. All of us experience setbacks and disappointments. All of us experience failure. And these are not very unity topics. Because we are about this creative spirituality where we get to call forward from the no-thingness that is the pure potentiality of the infinite into the form that is most like our desires of the heart. That's a fun message to preach, and I'll do it a lot. But today is a balance to that. That indeed we are called to bring our light forward, but there is a journey to Bethlehem. And there are things that occur on our path that are not what we wanted. And it used to be that in unity, in the New Thought tradition, that if you weren't fully manifesting joy and light and peace and abundance all the time and 100% health in your body, then you were doing it wrong. We have matured as a teaching. We understand that these are universal experiences. I have found so much comfort from the Buddhist teachings on this topic. The suffering is universal. We all go through these things. But what does it mean? Well, I do want to start with this idea of wholeness, and I like to play with words sometimes. Wholeness, a fundamental wholeness, meaning that there is nothing missing. It is also the same root as holiness, that it is sacred, it is divine, that we are holy, whole beings. We even sang that song today. Let me live in a holy, W-H-O-L-L-Y, holy, H-O-L-Y. And it doesn't mean holy if you come from one of those churches where you got to do everything right and follow all the rules to be considered holy. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about holiness as being connected to my truest, most authentic being, which is connected to the infinite. It's not about following the rules. It's about tapping into a deeper truth. And so the message I want to bring today is that for a deeper understanding of wholeness, we have to be able to somehow make room for this human experience. Krista Tippet, who I've been talking about a lot, she defines wholeness as an orientation to reality, not perfection. It's not getting everything just right, but it's to keep facing the light of the divine within us. It means to keep bringing everything back to that awareness that God is here and all is well. God is here, all is well. God is here, all is well. Even though it doesn't always feel like it or look like it. And this is why faith and hope as the first week of Advent is perfect for today's conversation. But I am going to remind you of the fundamental truth of wholeness. This comes from Eric Butterworth. What he has to say about healing, I think, is pretty good. There is that of you that is greater than your weakness, stronger than your fears, the four-dimensional creature that is even whole within sickness. This is that of you that is the perfect idea of the mind of God. You are simply asleep to your greater self, your innate divinity. Paul says, "Awake, you who sleep, that the Christ light may shine upon you." And what is Christ but your own divinity? The particularization of the infinite source of life into the pattern of finite embodiment. It is a perfect pattern. It is whole. And it is you at the point of God. And I'm going to stand on that. That no matter what is occurring in my life, I am fundamentally whole. Ernest Holmes says this: the realization of the presence of God is the most powerful healing agency known to the mind of man. That orientation to reality, that if I'm going to keep placing my faith in my wholeness, placing my faith in my connection to the divine, placing my faith that no matter what circumstances, I am home, I belong, I am protected, I am good. And if I can hold to that place, then guess what? When things come along, I don't get completely thrown from my faith. I get to bring my faith to the difficulty. And so the question is, can we see ourselves as whole through difficult circumstances? I love Amy Grant. Anybody else know Amy Grant? I love her. I've been told she has a particular connection with the gay men who were trying to be really good Christian boys in the 80s. Just love her my whole life. Her first album, "You've Got My Father's Eyes, oh my God, I can sing them all. But I won't, not right now. One of the things I admire most about her as she has matured in her faith, and she's been willing to talk about the difficult things in her own life. She went through a divorce, which just wasn't done for a Christian singer. Not only to go through it, but talk about it. Recently, I was listening to Jen Hatmaker's podcast, and she was interviewing Amy, and I don't remember what the question was, but it was something about the state of the world that we're facing right now, the state of America, the state of politics, all of this stuff. And she asked Amy if there was a time in her life that she found hope in a broken and dark time. And I loved before answering every question, and Jen would ask her like 40 questions and then go, "What do you think?" And then Amy would just go, and just sit for a moment and wait for what one to come forward. She said, "I'm not sure this answers your question, but what comes to mind is something I went through with my parents and their dementia journey." She had a good family, loved her parents, and they both were experiencing dementia. And if you've gone through that, I certainly have with my family, if you've gone through that, you know it can be so difficult and painful. We sometimes call it the long goodbye. And she was really struggling with it. I think she had hired some caregivers who weren't really taking the care of her parents that she wanted. There's other things. There was some friction with siblings. You probably know these things that happen. And her former sister-in-law, the sister of her first husband, who was one of her best friends, came to visit, and Amy said, you know, and I just knew I had a good cry that could only come out if I talked to her. That's a good friend. That's a lot of trust. And it was the last day of the visit, and she said, her friend said, let's go out and look at your garden in the evening. She knew something was up, and they went out, and it all just came out. And Amy talked about her guilt over what was going on and her sadness that these two people who had been so brilliant and strong were just gone and fading, and just all of the pain around it. And her friend, her former sister-in-law, just listened and listened. She said, I hear where you are. Can I tell you one thing? And Amy said, yes. And she said, your parents are teaching you their final lesson. You don't want to miss it. And Amy said that was all she needed to do to reframe the situation. Yes, and she said this, I love this. She said, we do need to tell the story of our loss and our grief, but there is more to the story. Her mom died soon after that, but her dad lingered a long time. He lost the ability to walk, to speak. He recognized no one. And she kept remembering what her friend had said. He's teaching me a lesson. There's a lesson here. And so but he would like to hold her hand. I had the same experience my last Christmas with my dad. For like 4 hours on a morning when I got there, we just held hands. Now, he did talk. He was still verbal, but her dad wasn't. And she said he would just hold her hand, and that he would move it and look at it and stroke it. And instead of feeling all of the loss and the pain of the man that he was, she just felt that connection. And there were no words. And she said, the gift he gave me was connection in silence and presence. So even in those difficult moments, so thank you, Amy Grant. Isn't she great? I just love Amy Grant for that beautiful lesson that she was willing to share, and her willingness to hear that wisdom from her friend. And that's the kind of thing we're talking about, how we can begin to find wholeness even in these difficult situations, which brings me to my second and problematic title, Disillusionment is a Gift. I got this from Jonathan Merritt, who wrote a book called Learning to Speak God from Scratch. So you'll probably be getting a sermon series in 2025 on this topic. I know that the words we use around spiritual language are sometimes also problematic because we bring all of our baggage to those words. So we're gonna get into that next year, I think, until I change my mind. But in one chapter, he's talking about disillusionment. And anybody feeling any disillusionment? I know we've been talking about that since the election. Quite a few of our folks have been really feeling some of that. And it's not a good feeling. But what Jonathan says in the book is that it actually is a gift because we've been laboring under an illusion. And this gives us an opportunity to work with what's really here. It's not pleasant, but it's actually a gift. I've shared a lot about my addiction and recovery journey, but leading up to that moment of sobriety, I was laboring under the delusion that I didn't need to talk about this, that I could keep it secret, that I was fine. I wasn't fine. And that illusion had to be stripped away, and Don Beck, who created this wonderful lens of seeing the evolution of human consciousness, he called spiral dynamics. He said this, in a time of crisis, the safest place is the hard truth. To strip away all of what we want it to be and actually look at what it is. Now, those of you who practice affirmations, I'm not telling you not to affirm. But what I am telling you is that you get to look at what is. My friend Kathy Hearn, she attributes this to Ernest Holmes, but I've never found it written. I'm not doubting Kathy. I'm sure she's right. But it says this, our work here is to stand in hell and declare heaven. But we got to be here where we are. And sometimes that means we have to let go of our illusions. The diagnosis is here. Let's get a treatment plan while we're holding to our faith and while we're moving through it. The marriage is over. What does that mean? These feel like difficult deaths, and in some ways there are, but let's remember that all form is temporary. And as we're willing to just be with what is, let go of that form which is seeking to fall away, the energy of creation is brought back to us, and we can recreate in higher and better forms. But we have to be willing to tell the truth about where we are. I do have an example for this too. There was a Postcards from the Edge written by Carrie Fisher, wonderful book, turned into a movie with Meryl Streep and Shirley MacLaine, where they played mother and daughter. And this is 30 years ago, a long time ago, and Meryl Streep, still a young woman, playing this character, and she said something about being middle-aged, and her mother, Shirley MacLaine, said, "You're not middle-aged, I'm middle-aged." And Meryl responds, "How many 140-year-olds do you know?" A few years ago, I went through a tough breakup, and went through my grief around that, and I recognized that not only was I grieving the loss of the relationship, but I have never been single at this age in my life. I had to grieve my youth. And some of you get mad when I talk about that because you're older than me. But I'm telling you, I had to do it. In my mid-50s, I'm no longer a kid. I'm middle-aged if I get to be 110. No. You know, it's a long stretch. The first time I ever got to sing for Marianne Williamson, I was invited out to Arizona somewhere, Phoenix area, and Scottsdale. My brain was not going to let me go until I remembered that name. And she said this, which I really love. She said, "We have been given an additional 20 years in our lives, and the good news is it's not at the end, it's in the middle." And I think she's right, that we do have more time in the prime of life to learn and to grow, to achieve and to create. But here's where you need to hear this. Middle-aged is not young. And how many people do we know, and I'm not looking at anybody, not pointing any fingers, who will chase the appearance and experience of youth and miss the experience of this glorious middle of life? That even here is a gift. But first, we're going to have to just get real. Let go of the illusion that we're 21 when we're not. So, as I've talked about this before, when I realized that I had this grief work to do around not being young, being middle-aged, and isn't it great? But I couldn't get to the great thing because I was still over here with the thing that wasn't anymore. And I don't know where this voice came from, my higher self, but I got this thing, just kind of a download, and it was this: my job is to love this body as it ages. And I knew what I was supposed to do with that. Every time I had a self-critical thought about my aging body, I'm just to say that. My job is to love this body as it ages. And instantly I knew what that meant too. It meant not only to accept it as it is in this changing way, but to love it with the right kind of food and the right kind of exercise, love it with good sleep, to love it. And so that's what we're asking ourselves. Whatever this thing is that we've been holding on to, an illusion, let go of the illusion and find a way to love what is by accepting the change and see what's being asked for now. To love it. And it's not easy. Because I look in the mirror and I see my Father looking back. And that's okay. But I will tell you, here is the gift, to be willing to grieve, is I did it. Now, 3 years later, I don't feel that pain about not being young. I'm having a heck of a good time. About to start dating a little bit. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I'll keep you posted. But I feel kind of cute. So there you go. There's a big push, and I'm just going to say this one thing. I'm not going to get into politics, but it's just a theme that is in many cultures and many times of nationalism, and it's not the same as patriotism. Do you know the difference? Nationalism is like, we're the only way, we're the best way, and patriotism is, I love my country and I can see its flaws. And particularly Christian nationalism is a thing that's happening right now. And a lot of Christian pastors have come out and said it's a sin. We don't really use that language too much here, but what it does is that it seeks to go, you have to be like us in order to love this country. It's just not true. It's just not true. And out of that, there are a lot of states now are putting in laws that we have to have Christian teachings in the public schools, which we do actually have a constitutional amendment around separation of church and state, and it's a good thing. But there are a lot of places now they're putting the 10 Commandments up in schools where people can see them all the time. I don't think it's a good idea, but that's just me. But you know what I think we really need to do? Not in the schools, but we need to be looking not so much at the 10 Commandments, but as the Beatitudes. Do you know why? The 10 Commandments, they reinforce our judgment, and we can point to everybody that's not doing it right. The Beatitudes are all about me and my relationship to reality. So I feel like we just need to hear them again. What do you think? This comes from the teachings of Jesus. Chapter 5 of Matthew, which we believe this is the truest record of the actual teachings of that amazing rabbi that we have. It's called the Sermon of the Mount, and this is the way it begins in the Gospel of Matthew. Now, when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on a mountainside and he sat down. His disciples came to him and he began to teach them. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. All of those statements are about our relationship to reality. Individual, my relation. It's not about you, it's about me. My relationship to reality. And it's asking me to be soft. It's asking me to be open. It's asking me to be teachable. And it even gives me space to mourn. And we have a lot to mourn. But in this little example of me mourning my youth, I will tell you, I'm free. And the gift of our being willing to grieve and to be with that sadness is that it makes us available for what wants to come next. And so that's why we're doing this today. That's why we're having this talk, so that we can make it okay to normalize it that we all go through hard things. We all experience loss. And how do we, third point, hold each other in wholeness? Years ago, I've been started recording my music, and people still bought CDs. Do you remember those days? I still do that. And it was a large part of my income, and I had been singing and playing piano at a really nice place in Dallas called the Mansion on Turtle Creek. I played there for about 15 years, and they changed their format, and they didn't need me anymore. I got fired, basically, or laid off. And it was the biggest part of my income. I had a lot of streams of income. I'd been practicing this stuff we teach here, and I was doing pretty well, but I didn't know how that was going to happen. And so I considered just touring full-time. That's what several of my friends who are New Thought musicians, my friend Karen Director, said, that's what I do. Just go to a different church every week, give a talk, do some music, sell CDs, and it's great. And I thought, well, I guess that's what I'll do now. But the truth is, I have always needed to be in a group of people. You keep me honest. Did you know that? It's really easy because I got some gifts in terms of performance. I can just kind of slide into St. Louis or to Denver or to New York and do a Sunday morning, and I look really shiny and bright. But it doesn't grow me. But I'd been in that community in Dallas. I was there for 17 years, and this was about, about 10, 12 years into that. And I thought I'm going to have to leave this. And I was willing to let that go if that's what I needed to do, but then an angel in that community offered to cover my cost of my last 2 years of ministerial school and give me a stipend to live on. And that's not even the blessing of this. I mean, that was a huge blessing. So I was able to stay there in that community. But it reinforced for me the power of a group of people who are aligned towards reality. And you don't have to believe everything we teach here. I don't. I'm not going to tell you what it is that I have a disagreement with Charles Fillmore about in this moment. But I don't think he necessarily got it all 100% correct in the way he saw it. But what we ask us all to do is to orient ourselves to the great reality of love. Amen. To orient ourselves to the great reality of possibility and creativity. And to do our lives together in a way that even when we go through something difficult, we can find the faith to tap into that deepest truth, that God is here and all is well. In the bad old days, like I said, if you weren't doing it right, people might think, what's in your consciousness to create that? Well, those days are gone, at least while I'm here. We don't do that. But what we do instead is when people are going through a difficult time, we like to make a space for us just to hold them and to love them. And we do that in a lot of different ways. We have our prayer partners, we have our pastoral care ministry, we have our spirit groups where I've seen you guys do it with each other. Just love each other through the most difficult times. This is from Parker Palmer. Before I can tell my life what I want to do with it, I must listen to my life telling me who I am. And if you're unwilling to be present with what's happening in these difficult times, you don't know who you are fully. We don't affirm away the pain. We declare that God is here in the pain. And my experience, too, is when I start getting honest and talking to other community members about it, some wisdom will come to me, and I find a path through it. So as we're preparing for this ceremony today called Blue Christmas, what I'm asking us is this question: can we hold each other in our grief and our sorrow and our loss? And can we know for each other a deeper story of our wholeness? I'd like to close this part with a reading by Khalil Gibran. Is it Gibran or Jabron? Does anybody know? Gibran? Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. This is called On Joy and Sorrow. Your joy is your sorrow unmasked, and the selfsame well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with your tears. How else can it be? The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Is not the cup that holds your wine the very cup that was burned in the potter's oven? And is not the lute that soothes your spirit the very wood that was hollowed with knives? When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it is only that which has given you sorrow that is giving you joy. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you will see that in truth you are weeping for that which has brought you joy. Some of you say joy is greater than sorrow. Others say, nay, sorrow is the greater. But I say to you, they are inseparable. Together they come. When one sits alone with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep upon your bed. Verily, you are suspended like scales between your sorrow and your joy. Only when you are empty are you at standstill and balanced. When the treasure keeper lifts you to weigh his gold and his silver, needs must your joy or your sorrow rise or fall. I'd like to invite Reverend Marla and Reverend Shirley to join me. For this simple ceremony, I'm going to bring up some things that we might be experiencing at this holiday season. And you might be experiencing all of them, but just feel if you're willing to be witnessed and held by your community today. And as you feel that, if you're willing to come down and stand around the table, and then I will ask for one of those folks to take a light from the Christ light and light one of our candles. And our calling in this ceremony is to see each other fully in our humanness and know that we are grounded in the love and the light of God. So let's begin with just a centering. In this moment, I remember that deepest of truth, that God is all there is. and that we are here to express and experience life more fully and more deeply. And so whether we are in joy or sorrow, we declare in this moment that God is here. And we, the community of Unity of Houston, are here. Thank you, God. If this Christmas time you're experiencing grief from the loss of a loved one, and if you're willing to be witnessed and held by your community, I invite you to come forward now and let us see you and love you. So they can see you and you can see yourselves being loved by all of us here. Dooney, would you be willing to take a light from the Christ light and light one of our candles for all who are experiencing grief and loss of a loved one today? The light of God is here in your sorrow. Let's just breathe. Feel the love that is moving between us now. We see you, we hold you, and we love you. Thank you. And you can return to your seats. Thank you. These wonderful body temples are not meant to last forever. So we do experience death in the physical form. And we also experience illness. And if you or a loved one are experiencing illness and it is holding you and making this holiday season sorrowful or painful, if you would like to be held by your community, if you're experiencing illness, you can come forward yourself or a close loved one. If you would just turn and face our community, let them see you. And Mo, thank you. Thank you. So we've all been here. We've all experienced what you're experiencing now. We just want you to know you're not alone, that your community loves you, and we stand with you in this moment. Elizabeth, would you like to light the candle for those who are going through illness? Thank you. Let me help you. Gotta hold it there a second. There you go. You got it. We'll just push it down in there. Thank you. So even in the experience of illness, we hold you in the wholeness of God, in the light of God now. Thank you. You may be seated. One of the things that makes the holidays painful for many of us is distance between ourselves and those we love. And this may be physical distance, that we don't live near them, and it might be a different kind of distance. But if that's heavy on your heart this Christmas, distance from your loved ones, and if you would like to come forward and let us love you and hold you in this light of God's love, come forward. I want you all to see that not only are we here together, we're with you, we love you, but all of these beautiful souls and many more watching online are with you. You are not alone. Carol, would you like to light a candle? Yeah, just take that to the Christ candle until it's lit, and then, yeah, there you go. And then just push it back down in the sand when you're done. And so we have again brought light to this difficult time, and we love you. We're here for you. Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. This ceremony has changed and evolved over the years, and it was really with COVID. For the way I've typically done it is just, what's the thing now that's come up? And there was one particular category that it had such an overwhelming response that we've kept it in our ceremony. That if you or a close loved one are experiencing the pain of mental illness, and you would like to be held in the light of your community, please come forward. We know that there is an epidemic of anxiety and depression in our country and our world. And we can't solve it, but we would like to hold you in the light of God in this time. When there is trouble in heart and mind, it can be hard to see the light of our being. It's hard to know the light of each other. And I just want you to know that we are holding this light for you now. The light of your wholeness. May, would you be willing to light the candle? You in this light of wholeness, of peace, of well-being. Thank you for letting us love you today. You may be seated. For this final candle, Reverend Shirley and I had a couple of deep conversations about the way to speak about this. I watched Reverend Jean Marie's first talk at her new church in Florida, and she shared a statistic that shocked and hurt my heart. Evidently, around elections for many years, they've taken polls, and the question is, would you avoid attending a family gathering if someone from the other political party would be there? And when they first began this poll in the 1950s, it was 3% said that they would. This year, it's 50%. And it's not just politics. There is just a deep division that has been wrought in our culture, in our people. And if this is particularly grieving you, would you be willing to come stand? And maybe we don't need everyone, because I know it's bothering all of us, but just if you would be willing to be the proxy, and I know if you feel called to join us here, please do so. Join us if this division is really grieving you right now. Thank you, Donna. And I am certainly one. It's hard to remember the light of our unity sometimes. When there is hatred and blame being cast around, and particularly when it's people that we have loved and been close to, it's hard. So in this moment, Donna, would you light the candle for us? As Donna lights this final candle from that light of Christ that is in all people, in all beings, let us remember for each other that underneath all of the opinions and all of the anger, there is one light that burns in us all. It's the light of God. Thank you for standing here with us today. We love you. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you. Can we have a prayer? In this moment, I remember there is only one light, only one love, only one source, only one presence. There is only one. And even as we have taken this light, one light of the Christ candle, and we have placed it in 5 areas that need that light, it remains one light. And no matter what we are going through in this moment, whatever is happening in the world, we commit to seeing the light and to being the light. And it is stronger than all darkness. I'm grateful for this community, its compassion, its faith, its love, and its willingness to hold the light of connection, even in times when we feel alone. Bless us, God, to be that light. Amen and amen. Thank you.
So grateful for this sacred space where we come together and walk with each other through the joys and the challenges of life, and so grateful for everyone who came forward to be recognized. And we know that those sitting out there too may be feeling some pain or loss or grief. So thank you for being present with us today. And thank you for giving your gifts, your time, your talent, your resources, so that we keep this light shining, so that we continue to transform lives and serve the world. So there are various ways to give your gift, and let us hold our gifts in our hearts, in our hands, and bless our offering with this prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. So it is.
May the angels protect you, trouble neglect you, and heaven to bless you when it's time to go home. May you always have plenty, your glass never empty, and know in your belly you're never alone. May your tears come from laughing, you find friends worth having. With every year passing, they mean more than gold. May you win but stay humble, smile more than grumble. Know when you stumble, you're never alone. Never alone, never alone. I'll be in every beat of your heart when you face the unknown. Wherever you fly, please know this isn't goodbye. 'Cause this love will follow you, stay with you, know that you're never alone. Well, I have to be honest, as much as I want it, I'm not gonna promise that cold winds won't blow. So when your fears surround you, troubles abound you, wrap this love around you, you're never alone. Never alone. reject you, trouble neglect you, and heaven to bless you when it's time to come home. So when your fears surround you and troubles abound you, wrap this love around you. You're never alone. Never alone. Never alone. We'll be in every beat of your heart when you face the unknown. Wherever you fly, this isn't goodbye. This love will follow you, stay with you, know that you're never alone. This love will follow you, stay with you, know that you're never alone.
This Tuesday, our sound healing journey in the pyramid at 7 p.m. You are invited. Come as you are. Everyone is welcome. You can bring a yoga mat or a blanket or sit in a chair, sit in on one of the pillows. Just a time of deep relaxation and connection. And then on Wednesday, we have our midweek at Unity. We're having sing-along with Todd Silva. If you enjoy that camaraderie, that connection of sitting around a campfire singing spiritual songs, folk songs, just join us Wednesday night in the pyramid at 7 p.m. with Sing Along with Todd Silva. Visit our website for all of our upcoming events and information, and visit our bookstore building after the service today. They still have books and t-shirts and things in the hallway. Just you can give any kind of donation and pick up some items and meet some people and have some conversation. Our prayer partners will be down front to pray with you after the service.
I forgot to mention that next Sunday we have our amazing Reverend Howard Caesar will be here bringing the message, so tell your friends. If you're a Howard fan, be here next Sunday. Now I invite you to stand as you're able to join us as we sing our peace song to close our service.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Join me in our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever I am, God is. So we declare this moment that God is good all the time.
It's a beautiful day.